Hey again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wheel of Albums. I'm with my brother Adam and our graphic designer Cindy behind the camera. I am Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we listen to an album for a week, a few times. We get back to you and let you know if that album is something you must hear before you die. This week, the wheel was spun to Bon Jovi. Slippery when wet.
So the wheel was spun and we got Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet. And I know this album like the back of my hand. It was one of my favorite albums as a middle schooler, we'll say, maybe elementary school even. It's one of the first albums I can kind of remember buying, and I've always been a Bon Jovi fan, so I was looking forward to diving back into this one, and I was ready to get the hairspray out, put some cowboy hats on, some spandex on. While I might have enjoyed this album, not sure how Justin and Jack are going to feel about it. Interested to see what you guys think.
My reaction is I've never been a big Bon Jovi guy, although I do know a lot of hair metal. I did take a turn on a few of those bands. Bon Jovi was never one of them. So I took a look at Slippery When Wet, and I was like, oh, I know a few singles. Bummed that Born to Be My Baby's not on here, because that's, a cracking tune. And then I was like, I don't know these album tracks. But lo and behold, somewhere in my lifetime, all these songs started rushing back to me, and there wasn't a song on here I didn't know. But I'm not sure if it was really a happy reunion. Jack, what'd you think this week?
I worked at swimming pools in the summer of 86, 87, and 88. I couldn't escape John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, Tico Torres, and whoever else was in Bon Jovi. A lot of songs were burnt into my brain, and not in a good way, but please stay tuned. I will be giving my Jovi talks throughout today's episode.
Usually Justin comes up with the prompts and the questions for the albums that we listen to, but this week we all kind of came up with one question, and Jack came up with the question and sent it to me. What does it take to rock your face?
It was the summer of 1989. Bon Jovi did, in fact, see my face.
Has there been confirmation that A Million Faces were rocked?
Next question, did he rock it? No.
When I got this question, I'm going to be honest. I've loved Bon Jovi for a long time. And this question wrecked me as a Bon Jovi fan because it made me realize that pretty much all of Bon Jovi's songs are very open-ended.
It is a bold statement to say you've seen a million phases and rocked them all, but isn't that pretty much what Bon Jovi's career is around, bold statements?
And I really started to realize why people might not like Bon Jovi. I went and I watched the new Bruce Springsteen movie, just dived into Bon Jovi's counterpart.
A Jersey diversion.
I finally have come back around, and the podcast was almost put on hiatus because I just couldn't grasp the thought of this question. And to be honest, if anything, I've realized that while Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen are friends, Bon Jovi doesn't contend in the same realm as Bruce Springsteen.
He says he's seen a million faces and rocked them all. There's been no faces left behind.
So he did not rock my face even though he saw it.
Jack.
He did not rock my face.
So you're both saying it's a big lie. He has not rocked a million faces, and I agree.
All of Bon Jovi's songs leave you with a lot of questions.
Is he subject to perjury charges? Because he claimed he saw a million faces and he rocked them all. I got a big asterisk next to that. There's at least one from Pittsburgh of June of 1989. And my face has been rocked.
Why shouldn't we say goodbye?
There was a Danzig Soundgarden show at the Metropole.
And what exactly are we rocking, John, and Let It Rock?
I mean, when you say Shake It For Me in the Luke Bryan song, I'm thinking booties, and maybe we're letting our booties rock. Bon Jovi surprisingly has a big country influence.
What's it take to rock a face?
I don't know.
It's not what John Bon Jovi was serving up, at least not to me.
I did see Bon Jovi as part of a Steelers celebration back in the 2000s, and I can also say my face was not rocked. Entertained, but not rocked.
Who is you, and why exactly do they give love a bad name?
What does it take to rock a face?
What do we need to hold on to, John? Tell me. And why? Why is love a social disease? I don't know.
So the question is, if I could have rocked A Million Faces as a member of Bon Jovi. And there's a typo that says Bob Jovi, which I kind of like that better. I'm on tour as Bob Jovi, and I'm only going to try to rock like 11 faces. Instead of John, Richie, Tico, Alec, or David, I'm going to choose Bob. And it's a failed attempt to rock A Million Faces, but I have successfully rocked 11. And they all live in Kalamazoo, and they're related to Bob Jovi.
I mean, if I'm going to be part of Bon Jovi rocking A Million Faces off, I'll go and take Tico Torres' part. I think that would be great to lay down a decent backbeat drum. He's not the most flashy drummer in the back there. Maybe tickle that cymbal during Never Say Goodbye and collect a big paycheck while John rocks off A Million Faces in the front.
For me personally, I'm going David Bryan, just so I can play the keyboards on the opening of Let It Rock, which I'm going to guess is how they started that. David Bryan, man, is there any cooler keyboardist that played with one keyboard on his left hand and one keyboard on his right? And what a cool kind of get up on stage to play that way. So it always looked fun to be David Bryan. Richie Sambora is a close second for the sheer fact the talk box on Living on a Prayer. Who doesn't want to actually try to play that?
And all these years I've ignored that talk box on your Amazon wish list. Quick question. Do you guys think that Slippery When Wet is the blueprint for all hair metal from 1986 till its death in the early 90s?
On all hair metal albums, you usually had two really great rocking songs.
You Give Love a Bad Name and Living on a Prayer.
As singles, one huge ballad.
One a Dead or Alive.
And then maybe a weaker fourth single. Wasn't as good. Usually it was a ballad as well, but it didn't stand up.
Definitely the awful Never Say Goodbye. Soundtrack to big expectations that didn't come through with those middle school dances.
For that purpose is the blueprint for why hair metal was successful. And to be honest, in my opinion, every song on this album's good and stands up for what it is.
I wouldn't give the credit to necessarily Slippery When Wet. That was probably the biggest one. You have to look behind the scenes, and the architect of all of this is probably Desmond Child. His fingerprints and imprints are all over this album, and then he just had a certain touch, and that's blueprint, if you were, for this glam metal, hair metal. And I'm pulling up just some of his stuff. So co-writer, Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You. Co-writer, Kiss, Heaven's on Fire. Bonnie Tyler, If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man. Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer. Without Love, I'd Die for You. Aerosmith, Angel, Dude Looks Like a Lady. Cher, We All Sleep Alone. Jimmy Barnes, hey, Australia's favorite son, Jimmy Barnes. Kiss, Reason to Live. Bad Medicine, Born to Be My Baby. Joan Jett, I Hate Myself for Loving You. Bonnie Tyler, Hide Your Heart. And Cher, Just Like Jesse James. That's a goodie. Desmond Child really has a big role in subgenre of rock. Kudos to him.
And I like Wild in the Streets the best out of some of the non-singles on this album. It's been my favorite.
Out of all the songs on the second half of this album, Wild in the Streets is probably the one I can take the most. It reminds me of the Killers, thinking they're Bruce Springsteen. And speaking of the Killers and the characters they talk about in their songs, what do you think ever happened to Tommy and Gina in Living on a Prayer?
Now, according to Living on a Prayer, they never backed down. So my hope is that Tommy and Gina got to where they were going. I mean, they were halfway there in 1986, 1987. Did you make it, Tommy and Gina? I think you did. I think you worked hard. I think you had a couple kids. And I think you have retired somewhere in Jersey and you're raising some grandkids. Maybe a little Tommy Jr. or a Tommy the Third.
You know, the trials and tribulations that Tommy and Gina were going through on Living on a Prayer back in 1986, I don't know for sure, Adam, if they are together today. So I did what most of us do in 2025, and I went to Google AI to see what their odds were of making it. And the answer is, whether a relationship will survive if it's halfway there depends on specific challenges, not the halfway point itself. If the relationship is characterized by lack of growth, mutual respect, or communication, it may not survive. However, if the partners are willing to address these issues through empathy, commitment, and open communication, the relationship can be rebuilt and thrive. Look, not to be a negative Nancy, but Tommy had his six-string in hock and Gina was working at a diner all day. I really doubt they made it.
Tommy and Gina. I don't know who's the narrator of parts of this because it switches around, but there's there's this inconsistency I can't get around. So it's hold on, what we got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. And then later in the chorus, whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it. I swear. They just got done saying they didn't care if they made it. Doesn't make sense. And then, Tommy's kind of lazy. He's like the Grandpa Joe. Oh, union's been on strike. It's so tough. Well, do something. There's clearly at least one job in New Jersey that Tommy could have taken up. Cleaning the back seat of John Bon Jovi's car. Every other song, he's making a man mess back there with somebody. Come on, Tommy, get your ShamWow out and clean it up.
When we look at all the songs, scale 1 to 10, Adam gave this the highest rating at 7.8. I gave it a 5.5. Jack a 3.2. The three favorites are the singles: One If Ever Alive, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name. It was a tie for the three worst: Social Disease, Never Say Goodbye, and Raise Your Hands. Due to Jack giving Raise Your Hands a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10, we dub it the worst song on Slippery When Wet. Is Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi an album you must hear before you die? There's 3 big singles on here that I don't mind hearing anytime on an 80s mix or on the radio. So that means, is the rest of the album worth listening to? I liked Wild in the Streets. I did enjoy that a lot. The rest of the album, not so much. So I'm going to say no. I know they get a lot of hate. I just never really got into Bon Jovi. I think all the songs I knew are from Adam because he'd be blasting them from his room growing up. Adam, what do you think on this one?
My answer for this one is an absolute yes. If you're going to listen to a hair metal album, why not listen to what a lot of people consider the blueprint for it? Huge songs. I love You Give Love a Bad Name. I think it's the one that stands out the most to me. So if there's one Bon Jovi album I think you need to listen to before you die, I think you start with this one and go from there.
Do you need to hear it before you die? Nope. Slippery When Wet. Be careful. It's slippery. But when you give it a deeper listen, it's not that great a record. So I vote skip it. Skippery When Wet. Skip it. Don't listen to it.
Well, as much as I'm hoping there would be some Cinderella or LA Guns on the way, I'm not sure how much more hair metal we're going to get in the 1001 albums before we die. But it was interesting to go back and listen to. All right, Adam, you got the spin of the wheel for your next album. Go ahead and give that thing a tug.
All right, the wheel's been spun. And next up on the Wheel of Albums, it's going to be, we're heading back to the Chicken Shack with Jimmy Smith. I think we're about to get some more jazz on.
Hey, follow and subscribe if you like. We'll see you next Monday on Wheel of Albums.
After they had 30 songs written for the album, they actually had teens listen to the songs to help them narrow down which would be the best appealing to that audience. So they recorded those when they released Slippery When Wet.
I would guess I would rather Let It Rock because that's more passive than the aggressiveness of raising my hands. And I don't want John Bon Jovi bossing me around. After that lie about rocking my face, he can't be telling me what to do. This isn't Bon Jovi Says. This is Jovi Talks.